Hello, integrated science students. This video is our third installment for volcanoes. First one covered, what a volcano is, the types of explosions. We also talked about lava by composition, magma by composition. It's not lava until it reaches the surface. Then we did a little anatomy of a volcano. Today is going to be relatively short as far as what we're covering. It might take a little while because I have a lot of videos, but we're going to classify lava by flow type. When it flows out and it hardens, the rocks that result are classified into different things. Since it's lava that's flowing, this is going to be from a non-explosive eruption. When we get into explosive eruptions, we won't really have lava flow. We have pyroclastic material. It's different, and we have classifications of pyroclastic material as well. So there are basically 4 types of lava by flow type, and they're going to be dependent on the lava by composition. Those with higher silica are going to behave a certain way, and the rocks are going to result in a little bit different form than those that have lower viscosity. So if you'll remember the 3 types of lava by composition, we have felsic, which is very high in silica, so it's very viscous, has a lot of aluminum as well. We have their intermediate, a little bit lower in silica, a little less viscous. It's just kind of the mama bear, papa bear, baby bear, it's mama bear. And then we have mafic or mafic, however you want to say it. I've heard it both ways. And that's very low in silica. It's runnier, it's much less viscous, a lot higher in iron and magnesium than aluminum. And those different types of lava will flow differently, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me share my screen. This should look a little bit familiar. This was the drawing that I did. Mine, of course, was better. I mean, come on, this is pretty substandard. Anywho, lava by flow type. So there's 4 main types, and they kind of have different names because they're the first couple are Hawaiian names, and I'm sure Mr. Ritzman could help you pronounce them better, him being from Hawaii and all. But there's A'a lava, there is Pahoehoe lava, we have Pillow lava, and we have Blocky lava. And they basically, it's the rocks that they cool into that make them classified in these 4 different types. We'll talk about some characteristics of each one, and then I'll show you a little video of that type of lava flowing and pictures then of the rock that results. So A'a means stony or rough. It's very sharp rock. It's formed from basaltic lava. Now, basaltic lava, if you'll remember, is another name for mafic. And so though it's very low in silica, it's very non-viscous, so it's going to flow pretty rapidly. It's what happens is a rough or bubbly surface of broken lava called clinker. Now, I'm going to attempt to do a drawing on how this happens, but it comes out very, very fast. It comes out fast because it's not viscous. It's going to run like a river for a while, but the top of the lava is going to cool and harden long before the underneath cools. The underneath is going to keep going. So what happens is as the under part that is still fluid and flowing flows underneath the top hardened crust, it grabs chunks of that crust and it breaks it into little pieces. Let me see if I can share my iPad and I'll draw a picture because we all know I'm going to draw pictures, right? So, and I'll also give you an idea of why it's called A'a after I do this. Not just the meaning, but it has something to do with, well, I'll show you. Anyway, so let's do this. Takes me a little while to get my iPad shared, but I gotta hit zoom owner, screen, there's my tree, love that tree. And it's a good tree. Look at, because it's a tree that just got knocked down, but it decided to go ahead and make things positive, and it came back to life and it's growing up like a regular tree. I love that. Oh, there's a picture of my mouse pad. I don't know if any of you guys know who this is, but that's world famous Billy Epbauer, bronc rider. Anyway, let me get to, I don't even know how I'm doing this. It's just gonna have to be patient. Oh, there we go. Over here, and on the last one, I have a whiteboard. To the whiteboard, I apologize. I'll create a new whiteboard. I'm gonna try to create it. Okay, so this is what happens. I don't know what those little dots are. All right, so you have, let's draw a volcano. And here's the crater and the vent, so the lava is going to come out of here. But I'm going to keep the lava black because ultimately it's going to harden into, these are very dark black rocks because they're basaltic. They have a lot, the iron and stuff makes them really dark. So what happens is, let me get this a little bit fatter. As the lava flows, because it is a non-explosive eruption, I'm going to try to make this even thicker. This is going to clear everything up so nicely for you guys. You're so lucky that in addition to science, I'm pretty good. I art pretty well. So there we've got some very non-viscous lava coming out. So this is your mafic lava or basaltic lava. And the top up here is going to dry and harden. It cools and hardens, excuse me. But underneath, we still have a flowing river of lava. So as it flows underneath, what happens is it grabs, let's go ahead and go blue pen, let's go smaller. It's gonna grab some of the sharp chunks that have already hardened, and it's gonna break them loose. And it's going to tear that top into small, sharp pieces of jagged rock. So as we've got this underflow, so this is flowing underneath quite nicely. And then as it does that, and it grabs that those hardened pieces, what we end up with is these sharp, I'll make that a little bit smaller, very sharp pieces of rock that are basically torn into sharp edges. If you've ever been to Jordan Craters, there's a lot of this at Jordan Craters. There's some at Craters of the Moon. There's also a lot of Pahoehoe at Craters of the Moon. But this is called a'ah because it means sharp, or it means stony or rough, excuse me. But the way I remember what it's called is if there's somebody that might not be overly smart, not that we know anybody like that, and they decide that after this cools completely, they want to run on it. Let's have this person, they're running, so their hair is going like that. They're smiling because they're too stupid to know that it's dumb to do that. And as they run on there, it's really sharp, and it's gonna hurt, and they're gonna go, lava. Anyway, so lava. Know the main types of the things that make it that type of rock. Know that it comes up very fast, the top cools and hardens, and the bottom part grabs onto that hardened crust on the top and just tears it into these sharp chunks. Let me go back to sharing my screen, this. Okay, so let me show you a little video of this happening. As my Wi-Fi catches up. So this is Kilauea. You guys studied a little bit about Kilauea. You can see, and I think that's why they call it clinker. If you listen, it kind of clinks. But this would be lava, and you can see that under part that's still red is just tearing that top hardened part into sharp pieces. Over here to the left is something different. That's Pahoehoe, but this is a really good example of lava. So we're not going to listen to that forever because it's kind of getting on my nerves. Let's go back to this. Okay, now, and then this is a picture of lava. You can see that it's very, very sharp, and they're relatively small pieces. I mean, they can be football to smaller, okay? If they're bigger pieces, it's a different type. Now, Pahoehoe, it means smooth and unbroken. So it's almost kind of the opposite. It's from intermediate lava, so it's not super, super viscous. It's not like the felsic that's really viscous because it has a lot of silica, but it's not as unviscous or as runny as when we get lava. The underflow beneath a congealing surface. So with the lava, the surface hardened to fragile, very hard rock. This is, the top is cooling, but it's congealing. It's kind of has a little bit of flow. So as the underflow continues to go, it's similar to in that the top, it doesn't harden, it just congeals, kind of like, I don't really want to say Jello, but it's not stiff and easily broken. So as the underflow continues to flow, instead of breaking it into clinker, it kind of folds it into ropey stuff. It's kind of like when wax is dripping off of a candle, how it kind of rolls down, and you're not going to get these sharp pieces like in the I'll show you, this is also from Hawaii. Hawaii is shield volcano, basaltic lava, not explosive eruptions, and this is kind of relaxing, I think. I mean, it's moving slow enough, I'm pretty sure even I could get out of its way, so I wouldn't be real nervous. But so you can see that this is still, they show the underflow pretty good right there, but it's not breaking it because the top isn't solid and hard and brittle. It can bend along with it. So this would be Pahoehoe lava. I used to have a really cool rock that showed this really well at my old house, but I moved and I left it. And I regret it to this day. Maybe I can go back under the cover of night and steal it back. But anyway, this can get a lot of lava, cover a lot of area in not very much time. You can see that this is just really, really flowing quickly. All right, we could watch this for 2 more minutes, but nope, I'm not going to. And then when it hardens into rock, when this hardens, you can see those folding layers, kind of like dripping wax. Pillow lava, it can be, the makeup of the lava can be mafic or felsic or intermediate. What makes it pillow lava is that it erupts underwater, and you get these big balloon kind of pillow-like things. I can't remember if that video shows it actually erupting, but the outside cools and hardens, then emits rounded blobs. So the outside is going to cool and harden, but instead of it breaking through, it just kind of, these blobs come out, and we get these huge, huge pillow-like blobs of rock. But again, this would be the one that happens when lava erupts underwater. You can also do your own Google or YouTube searches and see different examples of this. These are just, I didn't want to do this one. It's not the one I wanted. Back it up. Back up the bus. Let's do this one. I think that just shows it bubbling out. These are the types of things that would happen on the ocean floor. instead of maybe from a vent, from a rift, which is when two continental or oceanic plates are diverging, moving apart. Pillow lava can happen, not always underwater, if the conditions are just right. Let me show you an example of what the rock looks like. I think I have a picture. There we go. You can see that it's underwater, these big, huge, round blobs. So that's pillow lava. Blocky, it does not flow far from the source. So that tells you what type of magma is it from. It's from felsic, very viscous, a lot of silica. Doesn't flow far from the source. It is similar to the but the chunks that result are much, much larger than the clinker that makes the lava. It's from felsic. It's cool and stiff. It doesn't come out super, super hot to begin with. And it's what we call, this is one of my favorite descriptions, jumbled heaps of sharp chunks. And this, you can hear that the chunks are bigger as they're being made. The surface is much thicker that has hardened, and the underflow has enough power to break them into these huge, huge chunks. I apologize that this is taking a while. My internet's not the superest. So you can see it's not very far from the source. The vent's just a little ways up this hill. But this is much, much bigger. And you can hear it's not that clinky, clinky, clinky. It's some pretty big chunks coming off. So that is the fourth of the 4 types of lava by flow type. So make sure you understand when I'm asking you questions in the future, I will say lava by composition. That's felsic, intermediate, mafic, or lava by flow type, pahoehoe, pillow, or blocky. These result from non-explosive eruptions, because if they're explosive eruptions, we don't have the flow of lava. We have pyroclastic material, which is going to be on the next video. Picture of blocky for you. There we go. And that's about all I have for you today. Not a lot of stuff, but it is going to be covered on today's quiz. Good job for you guys that have been taking the quizzes. There's about 10 or 11 of you that consistently take it. And those that haven't, you got a lot of work to make up. You can do it, but you better get off the can and get going. So, all right. Well, that's all I have. I'll see you guys on the other side.